Hey everybody, welcome back to the Carryandcut YouTube channel. And if you're new here, I sure do appreciate stopping by and watching. Don't forget this video a like, make sure to subscribe, and also leave a comment if you would. It really does help out smaller channels like mine. You know, if you guys like, the more engagement we get, the better off we are. So I really do appreciate everything you guys do for me and all the views and all the likes and the comments. I love responding back to everybody too. So we got a pretty cool video going on here, at least I think so. I've seen a whole bunch of people do, you know, like their favorite knives, or if I can only have one knife. I'm not going to do a one knife deal because I haven't really thought about it that much. I feel like it'd be pretty hard to narrow down. I have a lot of course, a lot of EDC knives as it is, and you know, I just figured I would pick 5 of them that I think are pretty cool and that, you know, are highly recommendable to everybody. And these, I'm not going to, well, these are pretty much my favorite go-tos, the ones that I use a whole lot. I gravitate towards really only 2 or 3 of these, you know, to really use a lot. But this is pretty much my rotation. Of course, I have a whole numerous amount more of them, but these are the knives that I normally carry on a day-to-day, weekly basis, depending on, you know, what job tasks I got going on. We have some hard use stuff, some not so much hard use stuff, some kind of tactical inspired knife, and then, you know, one that I really just like. And so yeah, so I really wanted to try to keep, you know, one from every different brand in here, but I did throw the 2 Spydercos in there just because I really do like them. So let's just go ahead and start off on this side over here. So this is the Benchmade Presidio 2. This was a one of the I would say newer acquisitions. I got this one last year, and this is a, you know, I've always been a big fan of Benchmade as it is. I know a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of their pricing and everything like that, but if this is kind of like a sleeper knife in my opinion, you know, not a lot of people have these ones. They're not rare by any circumstances, but they're really not, you know, very expensive. You know, $180. I got this at River's Edge Cutlery in the actual store. So they're in Hilliard. That's kind of my local knife store, I guess you could say, only about an hour from where I live. So I went up there with one of my friends after work, and we each got one of these. And this thing is like, it is a tank. It has nice thick blade stock, solid actual, you know, steel liners, the whole length of the blade. We got a pass-through construction. It's easy to clean out. We got a pretty robust axis lock, and I'm pretty sure it's it's like the actual crossbar. It's like the same size as the one they use in the Adamas knife. So it's definitely a stout, pretty stout knife. And if you need something for a hard use, you know, hard use application, this would definitely be one to get. It is pretty impressive. The weight of it, this thing is crazy heavy. Which I don't really say that's impressive, but it is definitely on the heavier side of knives. Let's go ahead and get a weight on this if we can. It's definitely substantial. That's all really what I'm trying to get at. So 4.4, yeah, 4.4 ounces. So it's a big knife. It's definitely one that takes up some room in your pocket, but I do like it. I really do like the handle material. It's got like a CF Elite, whatever, but there's obviously zero flex in this thing. And between this and the bug out, you know, I do have a bug out too, and I like it a lot. My good friend Jimmy Crow gave that to me, so Jimmy, shout out if you're watching this, appreciate that. But this is you know, if I'm working in a mechanic shop or something like that, you know, here in the wintertime, that's what I'm going to be getting into. This is pretty much the knife I'm going to be carrying all the time, you know, cutting zip ties, prying on stuff. It does have a pretty robust tip on it, and S30V steel. Not everybody's favorite, but it gets the job done. Factory, pretty much deep carry clip, so you really can't complain too much there. And it's just a pretty, you know, overall good blade shape. Really do like the nice broad blade and the drop point. You know, pretty nice. So that's the Benchmade Presidio 2. So if you guys aren't, you know, I think they even actually do make a mini one of this also. But this thing is pretty sweet. You know, I've definitely enjoyed having it, and no complaints there. I do have the, I actually chose this over the 940 Osborne too. You know, it's not that, I like that knife also, but this is where I ended up landing on that one. So let's go ahead and get him out of the way. And then we're going to move over to the other side of the spectrum. So we went from hard use to not so hard use, but I still really like this Spyderco Delic 4. This was my first of the lightweight series, I guess you could say, at least the Seki City, Japan Spydercos. And this one, I got this on a Matco tool truck. It was a TSA confiscation fine or whatever it was. So it was like 30 bucks. So the blade was all chipped up, dinged up real bad. And it had some, you know, not really rough spots, but some corrosion-ish stuff going on. And I got it all cleaned up, took it apart, oiled it up, and, you know, resharpened the blade, everything like that. Put this Lynch Northwest deep carry clip on it. And it is, you know, really changed my whole thinking behind the lightweight knife scene, at least in the Spyderco realm of things. I do have an Andela also, and I've seen a whole bunch of other ones. I know Jimmy Crow, he sends me a whole bunch of knives, and I've seen just a whole bunch of the other, you know, stuff on the spectrum that you can get, and it really has changed my opinion on these knives. I really do like the overall size of this knife. I know a lot of people think the Spydercos are real ugly, but man, they are, you know, ergonomically correct. It's just any way you can hold the knife is just comfortable in the hand. Their slicing geometry is their blade geometry is just awesome. Real nice distal tapered blade. Really do like the opening, you know, the opening method on all these knives. I'm not the biggest fan of the world of the lockback design, but man, it is, you know, it's easy to manipulate. You can still use it one-handed, and it is just a real, you know, treat to work with. Super slicey. Now the VG10, you know, not all that great, but still not terrible for what I paid for it. And what we got going on here, really can't complain it though. I really do like the actual bi-directional texturing they have going on here on the handle scales too. So this is pretty cool. Definitely stoked to have this one. So I like this one a whole bunch. I'm not going by any sort of favorites in here, but this is definitely one of the ones that I do carry a lot, and I do enjoy carrying it. Why don't we just set them open up from here? How about that? All right, try not to cut the hard hat. So next, this is actually the newest knife in my collection. This is the TRM Bulldog, and this has quickly became my favorite EDC knife that I've been carrying this thing ever since the day I got it. So it's been going on over a week and a half now, and I've always liked TRM knives. I have the Atom and the Neutron too also, and I think I'm gonna invest in the Holy Nerd. I know that, or the Shadow. I've been looking at the Shadows on Blade Bench and stuff like that on eBay, and I've seen this Merlot micarta Shadow that was really sweet. But you know, we'll have to talk to Miss Carryandcut about the finance situation on that one before I go pulling the trigger or anything like that. But this is definitely a really cool knife. This is one of their thicker, well, it's like the thickest folding knife that they've made yet. So it's pretty robust. This is not their first crossbar lock. This is actually called a river lock, but it is definitely a really good knife. Smooth action, running on bearings also. So you really can't beat that. Love the full length steel liners in there. They do a great job. It's definitely got a little bit of heft to it, but I feel like this would be kind of one of those knives that you could kind of not be afraid to thrash on so much, and it wouldn't hurt it too much. The 20 CV does a great job. I know they make these in MagnaCut. Most of the production run is going to be in MagnaCut. They actually sent this knife to me for review, so really can't thank TRM enough for everything they do for the channel. So awesome people to work with, everybody over there, they're just really good people. And I'm going to be investing in some new titanium scales for the Neutron too coming up also. So that is another knife. I just didn't want to keep putting, that was my favorite one before this one. So I used to carry that one a lot also, but this one kind of took that one's place. And then this is another one that I just recently got. This is the Protek Strider PT+. So this is a really cool, this is my first side opening automatic knife that I've ever gotten. I was really in a toss-up between getting a Manix 2 lightweight, the M4 Blade HQ exclusive one, and of course I was going to do some applied weapons technology scales on it, get some aluminum scales and a new clip on it and all that kind of stuff. But then I was like, man, if I could just it would be cool for the channel to do like a build series on it, but at the same time, I could just put that money into something like a Protek, and I've always heard a lot of good stuff, and I was either going to get the Mordax or get this one right here. And I ended up going with the Strider PT+, and I definitely, I don't regret it whatsoever. This thing has some awesome, snappy, automatic action. Hit the button, flies open, and it's really cool. I really do like it. It's got a smoky gray DLC MagnaCut blade on it, just under 3 inches. So it's just like a super comfortable, ergonomic knife. And I know it has a crazy looking handle design on it too. Very, of course, PT, that's a Strider model, so mixed Strider. A lot of people have seen his knives. They have a very distinct silhouette, but overall, it just works. It's really nice in the hand, no matter how you choke up on it. We have a really nice forward finger choil on there, and it just kind of, no matter what, if you choke back on it, I have, kind of medium to large size hands, and my, I can get a full 4-finger grip on this thing. Not a big deal whatsoever. And this is like the perfect, sharpening choil. Really do love how I did that right there. That is a perfect example of a right sharpening choil in my opinion. And I really do like of course they come with a factory deep carry clip on there. Black aluminum handles, it's kind of like a sandwich together type deal. Almost, resembles like an integral, I guess you could say. But this is pretty cool. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this thing coming up soon. Maybe probably some disassembly and maintenance videos. I tried to look up some online. There isn't too many of them on here. And I know I do like doing some disassembly and maintenance videos on knives. Geez, hard to get that one out, sorry. Another cool thing about these, they use some Allen wrench, like Allen heads, instead of actual Torx bits on everything. Of course, their pocket clips are still going to be in Torx, but their actual body screws and the pivot, that's going to be an Allen head. So definitely pretty cool. A lot harder to strip those out. Kind of, at least probably in that application it is. Some of like some heavy machinery and stuff like that, still going to strip those out. But for a pocket knife, we'll see how that works out. And so this is going to be one of really my favorite ones for sure. My wife and children got me this for Christmas 2 years ago. This is the Spyderco PM2 and the micarta and CPM Crewwear blade steel. Crewwear, I know everybody loves MagnaCut and all that kind of stuff, but Crewwear has definitely been, you know, one of my favorite steels to work with. It is great stuff, easy to sharpen, nice amount of toughness. Of course, it's not really necessarily stain resistant. I don't even know if you want to call it a semi-stainless steel. I do have a little bit of patina on there, and I was really worried about it for the first year that I had it. I was oiling up the blade and stuff, and you can kind of see there's a little bit of patina going on there. I don't really necessarily live in a real humid environment. I mean, we do live in Ohio. We have humid summers and stuff, but it's still nothing too crazy, and I think I'm actually kind of liking the look of it. I did put this new Lynch Northwest. It is a modular titanium clip on it, so it's pretty cool. It the actual mount stays onto the knife, and you just pull the pocket clip screws out of the back of that right there. So it's just a pretty cool different application there. But if anybody has never tried a PM2, it is kind of a you know, I've had pair of threes, tried them, held them, cut with them. I like the PM2 more, honestly, just my personal opinion. I don't mind having a bigger knife. This thing really doesn't take up that much room in the pocket. Really do love all the jimping and just where it puts your hand. This is kind of a hand melting knife design. But, you know, I do like the pair of three smaller stature though. You know, like I don't need the extra room for a fifth finger back there. But at the same time, still does great. Crewwear steel. Takes an awesome edge. This is a nice, you could almost use this as a hard use knife also. It does have some thicker blade stock on there, and it just does a great job overall. So these are my 5 favorite EDC knives in my collection that I, you know, actually do use all the time. Of course, I have some other ones. I will put one other knife in here. This one, I don't carry it all that often. This is another one of those things I got onto the Kickstarter for. This is the Aurora Knife and Tool Truffles, it's called. So this one, I seen it there on a YouTube short last year, whenever it was that they were putting up their Kickstarter, and of course you could pre-order it and all that kind of stuff. So I got in on the pre-order. I got the bronzed, you know, anodized accents and all that kind of stuff. These were all serialized when they first came out, so I don't even know what my serial number is or where to even go to look for it. There's real minimal branding on this knife. They're on there. It's just kind of hard to spot sometimes. I think it's on the tang. Hold on a second here. It is just about impossible to see. I always forget where the heck they put the serial number. Well, I guess that's not really important anyway. Oh, there we go. 1038. Focus. 1038. So this was pretty cool. It has a roundhouse lock on it and all sorts of different means of manipulation for opening the knife. We got a top flipper, front flipper, whatever you want to call it. Of course, rear flipper. You can do the reverse flick and a thumb open and this roundhouse lock, and it's just super snappy, super smooth action on this knife right here. And it is pretty cool. I'm definitely a fan of this. It's got full titanium handles. And one of these days, I'll definitely get in there and do a disassembly video on this thing and show you how this roundhouse lock actually works. There's a lot of moving parts in there, but it is definitely pretty cool. Got that awesome. I just love the color on this bronzing. It's like a purple. There's all sorts of different colors going on there. You can see that pocket clip kind of. It's got some purple shades to it, so it's pretty cool. This is another one that's pretty cool. And then we have the Fair and Forge Aluris too. This one's pretty cool. This was another Christmas present from my wife and children. And this is just a really, really nice kind of gentlemanly carry, I guess you could say. This is kind of my my church knife, if you will. Not a lot going on, not very aggressive looking, but just super nice. If you guys are familiar with the Civivi Praxis, this is kind of right up that alley. Just a beefed up version with some nicer materials, CPM20 CV on the blade steel, and of course all sorts of titanium going on there. And there isn't even a fuller, there's no blade hole, nothing like that, but you can still reverse flick this knife. It is super nice. Action is on point, so this is gonna be a good one too. So all right guys, I think that's enough ranting and raving on that one. Really do appreciate it. Have a great weekend.